I have to say today the city is more on edge than ever before. We've seen firefights breaking out inside the city, and there are reports that the police and the military are just handing out weapons to civilians. And I have to say the city is now braced for what looks like the battle for Kyiv. Russian forces closing in on Kyiv, explosions rocking the capital city. Images like this one circulating on social media. Ukrainian military police in full combat gear joining the fight to defend the city. The emergency services called into action after shelling overnight. Ukrainian President Zelensky in another urgent address to his country, saying saboteurs have already entered the capital and that Russia's named him target number 1, his family target number 2. They're now in hiding. Just 60 miles north of Kyiv, after fierce fighting, Russian forces reportedly now in control of Chernobyl, the destroyed nuclear power plant. From our position in Kyiv, we could see fighter jets overhead, with the city triggering its emergency air raid alarm. Videos posted on social media from inside Ukraine show these attacks unfolding as the Ukrainians mount a stiff defense. But the Russian onslaught is widespread, with missile strikes in the west. Ukrainian air bases aflame in the east, and fighter jets dropping bombs in the south, and clashes in the southern city of Sumy. The fighting on the ground has been intense. The Ukrainian president saying 137 Ukrainians have died. President Zelensky has now ordered a general mobilization, calling up men of fighting age and reservists. Those living in Ukraine now forced to deal with the reality of war unfolding around them. As bombs strike nearby, people are forced underground, turning subways into makeshift bomb shelters.
President Biden has announced new sanctions on 4 more Russian banks and some Russian elites.
Putin's aggression against Ukraine will end up costing Russia dearly, economically and strategically.
But the president stopped short of sanctioning Putin himself. Still, some experts say sanctioning Putin himself may have limited consequences. President Biden says it could take weeks to know whether the new economic punishments have an impact. The former U.S. ambassador to NATO acknowledges Kyiv will likely fall before the Russian economy experiences any pressure.
Sanctions will take time, and they may make an impact on Russia's economy and on support for Putin over the long term, which is good. But that is the reason why we should have done this a few months ago.
The White House has been threatening to impose sanctions on Russia since the military buildup near Ukraine began.
No one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening. It has to show, this is going to take time, and we have to show resolve so he knows what's coming. And so the people of Russia know what he's brought on them.